So let's have a listen to this sequence that we're going to recreate. So at the minute, you can't hear anything coming through, but if I start to bring up one of these three, you can see we've got lead here. And below lead, we've got this lead low pass filter, which allows me to open that up. I can bring in a bass. And I can open up the bass as well. And we've also got this modular sequence. And I can change the harmonic mutant with that. Got build up and noise. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I chose this one because it shows off that you can create 3 different sequences within a patch using the 3 different oscillators and having a sequence for each of those. So I thought this was a good one to redo. So the first thing I'm going to do is just switch over to a empty patch. And let's go straight into the voice section. Change this to mono. Let's add a bit of analog flavor in there and also have the warm mode on as well. And let's take a look at oscillator 1 first. So oscillator 1, we're going to change it to wave scan. Now this wave list, when I first made this patch, before I made the sequence, what I did was I randomized all of the waveforms and then I made a sequence out of it. Now I could randomize them all again and then make a sequence, but the sequence wouldn't sound quite right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the correct waves in that are from the patch. This might take some time, so I might edit this bit out and then just show you the waves after. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Right, so that was pretty painful doing that. I've got finger ache now. So let's come out and just have a listen maybe. So there are all the different waveforms. And then what I'm going to do is actually put this on 8 as a starting point. And the next thing I want to do is set up a sequencer for this, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to send LFO1 to oscillator, sorry, LFO3 to oscillator 1 wave scan. And we're going to change this. So we're going to turn it up to 128. And then let's go into LFO3 and set this up to be a step sequencer. So let's go to step and then want to put BPM on and make this a 1/16. Let's change the trig sync to single and let's make it 8 steps. Let's put the semi-lock on so it goes up and down in semitones. So that should lock to the different wave scan points. And then again, I've got a sequence ready, but I'm going to play it while I'm inputting the sequence step so you can hear it changing. So -12, -6. -9, -2, and then we've got -12 again, -3, -7, and -9. And there's our sequence from the original patch. So what I want to do now is take a look at Mutant 1. So we're going to change this to harmonic. And we're going to leave it at ratio of 1, no feedback, depth amount around 47. And then we're going to bring this wet up to 30%. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go to the mod matrix and we're going to send LFO3 to Mutant 1 ratio. And then we're going to put that up to 1/8. So let's have a listen to that. So the same sequencer is also adjusting the ratio. So it sounds a little bit crazy there. Let's just have a quick look at that. So for some reason it's skitting out a little bit. It might just be clock settings from Ableton. That's a bit better. Right, so the next thing I want to look at is the mixer. So let's take a look at the mixer. Oscillator 1, I'm going to bring it down to 0. So we can add the macro assign button for the mixer, oscillator 1 volume 1 to 8. And then we're going to call this, we can call it oscillator 1 actually, or we can call it modular. I don't know if there is a modular. Let me just use that one. Mod. So let's just go to lowercase l. Where's that? Lowercase a. There we go. There's that. And then the next thing that I want to touch upon is also doing the macro 5, which is under modular. So they're in pairs. That's the way that I set them up. So for this one, what I want to do is affect mutant 1 ratio. So I'm just going to add 60 there. Or thereabouts. And then I just need to bring that up. Yeah, so you could change the ratio using that. And then we just need to label this. So we're just going to call this harmonic. Right, so that's that one done. And now we're going to set up the bass section. So for this one, we're going to go to oscillator 2. Let's bring, in fact, let me just set this up now. So macro assign 2. We're going to do mixer, oscillator 2 volume, bring that all the way up. Then we're going to go and write in... Actually, no, I don't want to put that, do I? I want to put bass. So let me just go back in and redo that. List name. Oh, there is no bass, but there is a bass drop, so let's just use that. So there we go. Got the bass now. Obviously, it's not really doing the bass run yet, so we need to figure that out. So what I'm going to do is just turn the modular 1 down. We're going to come to oscillator 2, and we are going to turn wave scan mode on. So this is going to be used as a filter. Now, the way that I normally set that up is if you start with, say, a sine or a triangle, you can then scroll through to a waveform like saw, and naturally that opens up the harmonic content, which also sounds like a filter if you scroll through it. So what I'm going to do is start off with triangle, then we're going to put in a tri-saw, and then we're going to put in a saw. So I'll show you how this works. So you can see it changing there. Kind of similar to when you open up a filter. Not quite, but it's like a cheat way of adding in a third filter. Because what I'm going to do, I want to set these up is, I'm going to send one of the sounds into filter 1, one of the sounds into filter 2. And then basically for the bass, I don't need to send that into a filter now because it can have its own dedicated filter by using the wave scan. That was the idea behind that. So yeah, mixer, oscillator 2 and oscillator 1, they're fully down. I've already set up this bass. And now what I want to do now is set up another macro for the bass here. And this is going to be for that wave scan. So let's go assign, and we'll go to wave scan, open this right up, hit play. So at 36, that's the sweet spot right there. And then let's just call this wave scan. I mean, I'd called it wave scan in the original. I could have called it filter just so people don't get confused. But I wanted to name them exactly what they was. So yeah, wave scan. So now we've got that to add more harmonic content into the mix. And then what we need to do now is we need to set up a step sequencer for this sound. So let's go LFO4 to oscillator to pitch. And then with the pitch, I want to bring the depth amount all the way up. And then let's take a look at LFO4. So these were quite long notes. So what we want to do is we want to work in whole notes. So where is that? Let's have a look. There we go. So 1/1, trig, single, and then I want to put this on to step. Yep, all that's correct. And then we're going to go for 8 steps only. We're going to go for a smooth 32. So we get a little bit of glide between the notes. And then semi-lock on, and then let's edit the steps. So I'm just going to hit play. So you hear the different notes there. Right, so what I want to do now then is set these up. So we're going to go 0, 0, +3. Looking back on this, actually, I could have done it in 4 steps. Because you see, what I've done is I've doubled them up like that. But I could have easily done this in 4 steps and changed the BPM amount. Not the BPM amount, sorry. The rate. I'm not sure if that's a bit too much on 32. Nice. Right, so let's also go into oscillator 2. Let's bring that down -24. Or do we need to go? Yeah, let's go -24. Right, so the next one I want to look at is oscillator 3. So if we bring the bass back down again, oscillator 3, we're going to go for with Horizon 1. And then we're going to take the semi up to 0. And then we're going to go oscillator 5 to oscillator 3 pitch, 1 to 8. And then let's just bring this up so we can hear it. Right, that's not what we want yet. So let's go into the LFO now and go to step. BPM on. This is 1/16 again. So this is like the main lead sound now. And then we're going to go trig single. 8 steps, semi-lock on. Let's look at the steps now. So we're going to go 0. We're going to go +12, +7, +5, +5 again, 0, and then +7, and then +3. So yeah, that's the one. Right, again, mixer, bring it down. And now we need to make a macro for this. So let's go macro 3, assign, mixer, oscillator, 3 volume. Let's bring it all the way up for now, but I might need to adjust that later. Right, let's come back down. So this one, I want to call this one lead. Cool. Yep, we've got that going. Right, the next thing that we need to do is to look into the mixer and start to organize these sounds to different filters. So the first thing I want to do is look at oscillator 1. So we're going to send... Oh yeah, I need to put these into parallel as well. So filter routes in parallel. So series is where it goes into filter 1, then into filter 2. If I do a filter route in parallel, it passes through both, so I can split signals into each filter using these here. So what I want to do is I want to send oscillator 1 to filter 2. I want to send oscillator 2 to filter 2, and then I want to send oscillator 3 to filter 1. Now, when I come to sort out the lead, I also need to bring this volume. So I'll put that on 1 to 8 actually, but it needs to be at 33 because we're going to add drive to this. Now, if I put that to 1 to 8 and add drive, it's going to be much louder than the bass and the modular, which are not going through the drive. So that's the reason for having a lower setting on that. So let's take a look at the mixer again. Yep, so I've set that up correctly. And then what I need to do now is go to filter 1, which is going to be for the lead. So this is the first one that we'll sort out. So LP Fat 12, let's bring the cutoff all the way down. Resonance up to 54. I want to add a shit ton of drive, so let's bring that all the way up. And then envelope amount, let's bring that up to about 26 to start with. And let's take a look at the shaping of the envelope for it. So decay. Yeah, so there's something I need to do. I wondered why that wasn't working right. So when we come to work out these envelopes, we're only going to get that attack and decay at the beginning when it changes note. So whenever I hit the note, but then the sequence is not going to re-trig the envelopes. What we need to do for both of the envelopes is go to the trig settings here. So it's note on, that's first trig. But then the second trig, what we need to do is set this up. So for both of these, I want these to be LFO3. There we go, now that's working. Same with the amp as well. So let's go to the trig, LFO3. Much better, right. So let's look at this again. That's where I want the envelope, and then let's set up the decay now. So around there, release. Let's do the decay curve. And then let's also set up envelope 2. So sustain down to about 48. Same decay as the envelope, which was about 448. And then let's add a little bit of release at the end of that as well. Only a touch. So now that's set up, let's set up the low pass opening for the lead. So macro 7. And what we're going to do is set it up for the filter cutoff. So around there, that's nice. So they're all working now. Now the next thing I want to put in is the noise. The noise is going to be connected to this filter as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically add in a macro for it. So macro for assign mixer noise volume. So we don't want to smash this too hard. So maybe like 28-ish. Let's call this noise. So the reason why I said it's connected is you'll notice that when I bring this down, it also affects the noise as well. And let's label that actually because I didn't label it. So for this one, we're going to call it lead LP for low pass. There we go. Right, so we've got the noise, we've got the lead. So what we're going to do with LFO2, I didn't mean to rhyme then, or did I? I don't know. LFO2, what we're going to do is going to set this up as a sample and hold. And this is going to modulate pan and pitch. So let's put this on 1/8. And let's set this to single. And then also the smooth as well. I'm going to put that right up. So this is just kind of going to be a random. In fact, no, I want that off. So trig sync off. And then let's set this up. So we've got LFO2. I'm going to send it LFO2. Send it first to oscillator 1 pitch. And just bring that up a little bit. Maybe like there. And then I'm also going to send LFO2 to oscillator 2 pitch. And let's go minus this time. And then LFO2 to oscillator 3 pitch. And this time I'm going to go -2. So this knocks the oscillators out of tune of each other a little bit. And then lastly, assign for oscillator 3 pan, which I need to go onto the mixer, I think. Let me have a look. oscillator free pan. I'm going to turn it up to 29. Let's have a listen. So you can hear the pitch going out, so it sounds quite detuned, and it's also panning around. If I bring the other... Let's take that off and listen to the difference. Now turn it up. It just sounds a little bit more unstable and broken, which I like. So the next thing I'm going to do is look at the amp. Bring this up quite a bit because it's pretty quiet. And then let's take a look at the pre-effects. So we've got phaser. Bit of feedback there. The depth amount. That sounds nice. Let's look at delay next. So for the delay, we're going to go for reverse. And we'll go for quarter notes. Yeah, that sounds nice already. So feedback. Bit of feed tone there. And let's just set this to around there. Reverb, we're going to go for a cloud. A little bit of pre-delay. So it's skitting out a little bit then. I think there's something going on with my Ableton where it's like knocking the sequencer out a little bit. I need to look into that. So yeah, we've got reverb, cloud, pre, put that on. Time, want it quite long. And then knock out the bass out of this as well. Go quite high on that. And then for post effects, let's add on the distortion. Let's add quite a bit of that. That sounds nice. And lastly, let's just take a look at that macro 8 build-up. So if we go to macro sign, and then we set up reverb time. I just rhymed again then. This is the rhyming module. All right, reverb time 57. Let's go reverb wet. Just a little touch of that, it's a little bit extra, even though it's quite loud anyway. And then what we want to do next is the filter 2 cutoff. Let's bring it up to 108. And then filter 2 resonance as well. And that's pretty much it for this patch. So yeah, I thought it was quite a cool patch to show you because we've got the different sequences going on there. And next we're going to take a look at an arpeggiated patch which uses both the sequencer and the arpeggiator.